Welcome to the summer series of Make Movement Matter minis with me, Wendy Welton. In a break between seasons of the usual interview-style podcasts, I'm sharing a few short episodes to jolt your thinking and offer you a few practical suggestions to move more in your daily life. I really hope you enjoy them, and if you do, please share them with others. Follow for more, and I'd be incredibly grateful if you could rate and review the podcast to help me reach more people and spread the message about the importance of making movement matter in all our lives. So, on with the episode. All movement is good movement, and every movement counts. I named my monthly newsletter Just Move because I know that exercise can be a heavily loaded term for some. I also know that even if we like to exercise, meeting recommended guidelines and then not thinking about our movement levels for the other 15 and a half waking hours of our day can be hugely detrimental. I speak from personal experience as I fell into the latter camp, but regardless of enjoying exercise, I found myself in pain for too many years. I didn't think about how I moved the rest of the time at all. To improve your enjoyment of life today, and to try to stack your health and well-being cards in your favour in the long run, we need to stop thinking about exercise alone and also start thinking about our levels of daily movement, as every movement counts. More and more studies are finding that small, regular chunks of movement throughout the day are hugely beneficial for our overall health. When we're inactive or sedentary for long periods, it can do us more damage than even larger chunks of regular exercise can undo. So how do we become more aware of our movement in all the hours we're not exercising? It helps to ask ourselves questions. I go into lots of depth about these on my highly recommended 5-day course, Move More Naturally to Live Better. And by the way, yes, the link is in the show notes. But for now, let's just start with the question of how long can you find yourself in what I call chair pose? So that's the shape your body is in to sit in a chair. Yeah, I think you might have guessed that. Which can be to work, to eat, to watch TV, to sit and read, but also to drive. If you add up the hours per day, it can be a bit of an eye-opener. Of course, many have no choice but to sit for back-to-back Zoom calls, meetings, and because their workplace doesn't give them any other option. But I'd like to empower you to question it. How does it make you feel to sit for longer periods, both in your body and your mind? Physiologically, when we sit leaning against a chair back, many of our body systems are on go slow. Also, depending on the shape of the chair or the way we choose to sit on it, more on that in a minute, we can also compromise our ability to breathe deeply. Have a listen to episode 10 with Jane Tarrant from Link Breathing for more on this. As well as our bodies always adapting to the shapes we make most often, which in the case of the chair can lead to tightness in our hip flexors, at the front of our hips, lower back pain, tightness in the back of the legs, and more. Remembering that positions we adopt are never wrong as such is the amount of time we spend in them, with our bodies adapting all the time, that makes us see them as wrong when all these issues arise. However, as soon as we get up, things switch on again. To stand up, we're pushing against gravity. Therefore, it's even better if it's the whole way up from the ground. Press follow for another Make Movement Matter mini that's coming on that subject. When we're standing, we're balancing, which means muscles have to contract and continually adjust to keep us stable. When we move forwards, we're using our musculoskeletal system to move our body weight, which uses the cardiovascular system to get the power to the muscles and also our grey matter going for improved cognition and therefore productivity. So instead of beating yourself up for doing too little exercise today, feel better in body and mind by noticing or setting up a regular prompt when you've been inactive for a while and choosing movement. I find it best to move every half hour, but every hour is still great. In my work, I offer lots of handy tips on how to build snacks of movement into your day, whether at work or at home. Also, look out for a great future episode coming up on movement in workplaces and schools in the next season. For now, as I mentioned earlier, one great way to sit more actively is simply to wriggle to the front edge of your chair with your feet flat and knees at 90 degrees. Compare the difference the angle of your pelvis is in when leaning against the back of the chair. You can do this by putting your hands on either side of your hips, and how much more upright it needs to be to sit on that front edge. When we choose not to use the chair back, we have to engage all our core muscles, that's the whole way around our midsection, to stay upright comfortably. Our pelvic floor isn't being shortened for long periods of time as it is when it's tilted, the pelvis is tilted back. We can also access full diaphragmatic breathing, and we can even move more in our upper body with twists and shoulder stretches because we've got more space to move, as well as lovely seated calf raises as often as you like to get that blood pumped back up to the heart and brain. Yes, this is another form of chair pose, so you still need to move in and out of it regularly. However, in my opinion, it's a preferable option when you feel that you have no choice but to chair sit. Let me convince you more. It's also added bonuses. You'll be getting better at sitting on the floor without leaning on your arms because your core is used to holding up your upper body. And you'll be able to use my chair technique in my course and membership to get in and out of your chair. That adds a strengthening movement for hips, glutes and legs every single time you get up and down in the day, which I hope is often. Every movement is a good movement in my book. So think movement, not just exercise, and your body will thank you. I hope you enjoyed this mini episode, and please press follow on Apple, Spotify or YouTube to make sure the next ones pop up as soon as they're released. If you'd like to hear more about how natural movement could benefit you, then head over to my website, reclaimmovement.co.uk, and sign up to my newsletter. Or to have a more thorough introduction to all the ways a natural movement lifestyle can improve your mobility, strength and confidence, then my 5-day introductory course, Move More Naturally to Live Better, is for you. You can find all the details on the homepage. If you have any thoughts or questions, you can always get in touch with me at reclaim.movement on Instagram or email me at wendy@reclaimmovement.co.uk. See you next time, and don't forget to just move.